Noisy Pixel.
The Tokyo Ghoul series is fairly popular within anime fandom, which had me eager to play the video game adaptation, Tokyo Ghoul Recall to Exist. Witnessing the character development of Ken Kaneki as he copes with suddenly becoming a half-ghoul is a great arc to follow for this story. Sadly, it doesn't last very long to make a real impact. Tokyo Ghoul Recall to Exist opens with Ken as he is on a date with a girl he met at the library named Liz. If you thought this was too good to be true, well, then you're right. It turns out that Liz is a human-eating ghoul who takes the form of a normal-looking human. During the fight for his life, Ken ends up being saved by falling rods that pierce through him and his attacker. Luckily, he survives, but Liz doesn't share the same fate. It turns out that the doctors have used her organs to save Ken's life, turning him into a half-ghoul. After these events, he has nowhere to go and starts to work at a cafe where a group of ghouls reside and help him cope with his new identity. The story takes place after the events of the first season of the anime. Players can play through a single player mode that contains the main story along with side stories focusing around Ken. Sadly, the story felt rushed, which made the entire experience too short. The game is played across several chapters, but doesn't come close to the amount of detail needed to understand this ghoulish world. The story campaign is completed in only a few hours and doesn't focus too much time on its world building. Strangely, you aren't able to save while in the middle of a chapter to start from a checkpoint, as the game only saves after a section is completed, which made turning off the game and coming back kind of a chore. But where the story falls short, the gameplay picks up the slack. Here, the gameplay is action focused as players run around and fight against mobs of enemies as they work towards the end of a level where a boss is waiting for them. The directions throughout each mission are clear and the gameplay is kept reasonably linear. This worked for me because I never felt lost. Sometimes during a mission, it's possible to skip mobs of powerful enemies, which makes things move quicker, but defeating enemies is needed when health is low because you can eat them to recover. Each character also has a special move, but the animation is always the same. Thankfully, every mode outside of story mode can be played with another player, but it was rare to play with someone that wasn't already my friend. Outside of the story mode, players also have some customizable options with cosmetics that they unlock during gameplay. To unlock these, players have to complete a special task, reach a certain level, or kill a particular character. The graphics in the game aren't anything too spectacular, but the animations are well done, which benefit the action game loop. Tokyo Ghoul Recall to Exist may not be a game I can recommend solely for its story mode, but I found a lot of joy in its gameplay and multiplayer offerings. Finding random people to play with online isn't always easy, but it was still fun beating up different groups of enemies together as a team. There's a nice layer of challenging gameplay here, and the lack of combos in the game was made up by just how cool it felt taking out these enemies. Newcomers to the series might feel lost at times, as the story starts in the middle of the series, which makes it hard to relate to Ken's situation based on the game's story offerings alone. However, like me, fans of the series will enjoy this dark adventure for what it is. Noisy Pixel is giving Tokyo Ghoul Recall to Exist a 7 out of 10. Thank you for watching. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.